Hello, my friends, on this terrific Thursday, August the 7th, 2025. Coming at you hot and heavy. Not really. We just taking it light on trading lately and everything. Just kind of browsing some things we've been looking at recently. And this is kind of funny. Johnson & Johnson. I'll just look at this real quick. This is just an example. I keep reiterating this because it's finally been proven to me after a couple years of actually having this channel and, journaling my ideas, so to speak, okay? And that's the beauty of this open book journal that I share, is that there's no take backsies, if that makes sense. Because when you're just privately journaling and you keep it to yourself, number one, you're probably not actually doing it, okay? That was my issue for a time. I was a procrastinator. And number two, you always be like, well, no, it was actually this, you're kind of like, you're going back on what you originally said. And Johnson & Johnson is a perfect example. We have had this little scribble here. We've had this trend line drawn forever, months, probably a year. We've had this circle area here drawn for a year. Our consolidation area drawn for a year. And it's still in the consolidation area. There's nothing to do, okay? This is how beautiful it is. Just coming back and just looking, you know what? Let's check on Johnson & Johnson. It's been a while. Okay, pull it up, look at it. Oh, it's still in our consolidation area. Now, Johnson & Johnson, why is it just still hanging out here? It has been hanging out in this consolidation area for, let's see, 3.5 years. Because we're looking at a quarterly chart here, so each candle represents 3 months of price action. So we've been up here for 3.5 years, just between 140 and 170. Wow! Think about the time scale on that. For 3.5 years, if you've been holding Johnson & Johnson stock, it has done nothing, essentially. It's just been consolidating between $140 and $170. Just bouncing right there, just staying in that tight little range right there, okay? So that's where it gets tricky on investments, because it becomes the personal game. Personally, what are you trying to accomplish? Personally, what is your financial goal? Okay? Johnson & Johnson, over the past 3 years, if you were the type of investor that you just wanted to own some stocks and you wanted to have some slow growth, low risk, okay, and you just wanted to get some money in the markets and some high value companies, strong companies, Johnson & Johnson just proved to you, at least it could drop to $1 right now, and we don't know. But I'm just telling you, looking at the price, which never lies, for the past 3.5 years, Johnson & Johnson has kept up its promise to its shareholders, okay, on saying, hey, we're going to we're doing good, we're holding the value of our company, your stock is remaining strong. Now, that's all it's done. So if that's what you were looking for, it gave it to you in spades. You couldn't ask for a more stable stock in the past 3 years. Just imagine what's happened in the past 3 years. Imagine 2022, you were just coming out of the what do you call it? The coronavirus pandemic, so to speak, and all that hoopla going on with that. And then 2023, you had the Ukraine, Russia deals really started going down heavy, okay? There was some leading ups to that, but it really started going heavy at that time. And, you know, Johnson & Johnson, it's just stayed stable. It hasn't had no major reactions from the marketplace, you know, which is nice. So that's all I got to say on that. I'm still looking at, you know, the large trend line quarterly. Okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to, a gorgeous buy to me is anything around $100, 100, 97, 95. You know, the market's greedy. We know that. So don't be surprised if it dips down to 80, 82. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and set alert down here, 82.61. Bam, done. Set an alert here, and I'll set an alert here where I had drawn a little line of a retracement down here. Let's say about 102. Okay, there you go. So I'm not even looking to buy. I'm going to play the big game, the long game. Johnson & Johnson, it ain't going anywhere, my friends. It just seems like that. So if I'm of the personal belief of that, where do I want to buy? Do I want to buy today at an all-time high? No. I want to wait for a pullback. Think about what we did on the S&P a few months ago. We bought that pullback. We nailed that. Perfect execution. Okay? Johnson & Johnson, same deal. It can go to $900 a share straight from here. It wouldn't affect me one way or the other. But until I see some people selling off their shares at a loss, okay, then I'll get interested. What's going to pique my interest? The first touch is right over here. You see how the bottom of the consolidation area is 140? Okay, so for the past 3.5 years, people have been buying this stock. Okay, what? Nobody's bought it? Please. That's 3.5 years of people buying shares of Johnson & Johnson, and it's done nothing. So what, in my mind, my crazy mind, psychologically speaking, what do I want to see before I enter a buy? I want to see some punishment, okay? So you now have 3.5 years of people buying Johnson & Johnson. I'm telling you, don't sleep on this, my friends. Just, you ain't even got focus in on it. Join with me on this hilarious journey of trading, okay? Go to whatever broker you use and set an alert on Johnson & Johnson for $104, okay? Just as I did. Let's join me on this together. Let's be surprised together, okay? But the first touch I'm looking for that's going to give more confirmation on this trade. Think back on AMD. Okay, I got quite a few views on the AMD video recently, and we discussed one of our mistakes on the AMD trade. We were right on AMD going up and having that beautiful move up, but we didn't wait for that extra confirmation on it. So learn from your mistakes. What are we going to do on Johnson & Johnson if we're looking to buy? Okay, we're going to wait for that extra confirmation, and vice versa, even if you're going to sell. Okay, so our first confirmation, as I was saying just a moment ago, is everybody that's been buying the past 3.5 years, we want to see them underwater. Oh, that's evil. That sounds mean and nasty. No, that's the industry. You think Morgan and Stanley, you think JP Morgan, you think any BlackRock, whatever. You think any of these big groups are going to be buying Johnson & Johnson today at 170? Let's give a little laugh out there for the crowd. No, absolutely not. Do you think Barclays is looking at Johnson & Johnson today saying, I'm going to take a buy? Absolutely not. They're already placing orders below, okay? Oh, what is that saying I'm trying to think of? In time, why? I forget it. I forget the saying. But it's something to go in the saying kind of goes like, in times of treachery, the safe thing to do is to do as others do. I forget the saying. It's something. I'll figure it out. I'll come back to y'all on that. But anywho, I get off track here. We want to see this consolidation area get broken in order for everybody the past 3.5 years to be underwater, okay? So first, I said my first alert is here. Price below 138. Perfect. So right there, we are set up for success on a macro trade on Johnson & Johnson, okay? What does this look like to you? If you were to compare this to something else we've talked about recently, this price action, this chart, looks an awful lot like Tesla did at the beginning of the year. Okay? Oh, well, what's going on? You have to go back to January and look at me talking about Tesla and Tesla. I said that because of Johnson & Johnson. Go back to the video in January and be surprised on how similar this looks. Okay? It looks the same. You got this giant move up, okay? And all we're doing is we're just placing alerts below, waiting for that move to happen. If it happens, great. We already know when to buy. Are we buying at 140? No. That's just to alert us, hey, price is doing what we wanted to do. It's starting to go down. And then once it gets down to about $100, $105, my friends, we already know it's time to start buying. Because everybody up here is going to be underwater. And they're going to sell at a 50, 60% loss at $100. And they're going to be like, Johnson & Johnson's, I've lost half of my 50% on that. I'm just going to sell it before it goes to zero. Tell me I'm wrong. That happens all the time. And then what happens after that? We buy their loss. We're patient. We wait. We expect price to even go against us down to 82. Great. We'll buy more. And then it goes right back up to $150. And those same people that have been buying the past 3 years are like, oh, well, man, it's right back where I was at $150, my average price of Johnson & Johnson's. I should have never sold at $100. Well, you just haven't been in this that long or that focused or really taken the next level in your investment journey and learning how the market works, okay? It's not a bad thing. That happens to everybody, okay? That's the name of the game. You learn over time. You get educated, okay? So Johnson & Johnson, that's kind of how I'm seeing it right now. That's my personal game plan. Don't ever do what I'm doing. If you do what I'm doing, you will lose your house, your dog, your kids, your cat, your spouse, everything. You will be homeless, living in a cardboard box. Never take financial advice from somebody on YouTube. I only share these personal journeys and stories because this is, it's to help broaden my mind and maybe yours. You never know, because my game got up tremendously by listening to other people's journey and stories and understanding how different ways the market can react and different viewpoints. Your job is to take all of the information that you process and formulate it into some idea of a system that works for you. Okay? And that can take you a week, a day, or years, like me. Lord knows, mercy, I wish I could have been one of those people that could have just strictly followed one system and been set for life on this. It doesn't work like that for a lot of people, okay? It works like that for some, and there's no shame in that. Congrats, man, you're making a living off this. Wonderful. Oh, you're sticking to this one system that this person taught you? Perfect, okay? The reason that not every system works for people, this is going to get a lot of slapback and hate, okay? And it's something that a lot of, I'm just of the opinion that a lot of mentors and teachers and professionals and millionaires in this business and gurus and people that are doing well, they just will not accept. They will not accept that their system might not work for certain people. They can't accept that because they haven't accepted the fact of perception and the uniqueness of the human brain, okay? Every person has had a different life and they have a different way on viewing the markets, okay? And it relates personally in their trading journey. So they can't use your system. It doesn't work for them. Their brain, no matter how much they program into their brain to use it, it's not working right, okay? Because there's something missing there in their thought processes, okay? There's a lot of hidden information that you take for granted that you're not understanding, that they can't get past that, okay? Where you would say, buy right there, buy right there, buy right there, you don't understand that they might have been burned at that particular moment, and psychologically they can't get over that block, okay, in order to buy where your system is telling them to buy, okay, because they've been burned multiple times on that. So that's just an example. They have to find a way to unblock their mind in order to buy that if they're going to follow your system. So if they are unable to block their minds, you cannot force people's minds open to certain ways in life, okay? You cannot transform a human being into being one person that they've been their entire life into an exact carbon copy of you. That will never happen. What you can do is just get people to find a way that works for them. That really has changed my life in this industry, on finding what works for me. Okay? So, I love everybody. That's my ideas on Johnson & Johnson going forward. I probably won't talk about it until I get an alert. It's as simple as that. I look at it, I make a video, talk about it a little bit, great. I hang it up. Who knows? We might not ever talk about Johnson & Johnson again in the next 20 years. But for now, that's my game plan. I love everybody, and we will talk to everybody later. Peace.